welcome to Miracles Happen, the podcast.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me.
So excited to have you here. I was saying before that I was reading up on your work and I'm like, yes.
Awesome.
For some reason of late, I've been very into hormones and looking at different ways of, I know why. It's because I'm just turned 45 and I'm like, okay, I'm moving into menopause stuff.
I hear you. Me too. I just turned 43. So I'm like, doing everything I can to not go into menopause.
That's right. So I'm like, yes, I'm learning from Kela. But obviously most important is folks on the family building journey. So we're going to be highlighting that, but I'm very interested in this. So, awesome. For folks watching and or listening, Kela Smith is just a short bio here. She's a fertility and hormones coach with an extensive background as a professional fitness trainer, wellness educator, and author. To date, she's published 2 books, The Complete Hormone Puzzle Cookbook and The Hormone Puzzle Method. I can't wait to get into this. This is solving infertility, as well as an online course with the same name. Kela also holds 4 distinct qualifications as a certified holistic health and wellness coach. She realized her dream of creating a virtual holistic health and wellness practice and helps women all over the world solve these issues. As the creator of the Hormone Puzzle Method, Kela helps her clients learn how to cycle sync so they have pleasant periods. Oh my God, I so wish you were like boosted fertility, happy hormones, hotter sex lives, hello, and greater creativity, productivity, and well-being at work. Holy cow, that's a tall order.
Yes.
This is going to be so great. I'm so pleased to have you here. I can't wait to dive in. So can you tell us first, I like learning about people that I interview and kind of their motivations and their background history, why they chose to do the work that they do. So can you dive into that and tell us about you and your work and
for sure
what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. So this entire business started out of my own personal need and struggle. My husband and I, we got married. We thought it would be really easy to get pregnant, and we ended up struggling for over 2 years with infertility. We went the medical route. The doctors kept saying, we don't know what's wrong with you. Just keep trying. They were, throwing drugs at us and throwing, different procedures. And then after about 6 months of that, I decided I don't want to go down this road anymore. I've been in health and wellness. I should be able to get myself pregnant. I should be able to know what to eat and what to do. So that's what I did. I just started researching and figuring out, okay, what foods do I need to be eating to boost my fertility naturally? Am I exercising too much? What do I need to be doing with stress? And so through all my research, I was able to get pregnant not once but twice after the 2 years of unexplained infertility. And so this business was born. I decided I wanted to go back to school at 40 years old and become certified in this because my doctors never said to me, what are you eating? What are you doing with exercise? What is your lifestyle? Nothing. And I just thought if they weren't saying that to me, they're probably not saying it to many other women. And so I want to be that voice, and I want to make sure that nobody struggles the way that I did. And so that's how this business came to be. And now, like you were saying earlier in my bio, work with women all over the world and teaching them about this. And so the Hormone Puzzle Method is the steps I went through to get pregnant naturally, and we'll get into that in a minute. I also dove really deep into cycle syncing and learning how to eat based on my hormones and all of that. So yeah, that's my story, and it's truly my passion, and I love what I do. So yeah.
Your third baby.
Yeah. Yes, definitely my third baby. Yeah.
And this is one of the things that I love about, it's like saying I love what we experience through infertility. It's like weird to say those things at the same time, but it's true. You get some things like this inspiration, this ways of helping other people through this process that I just find such profound meaning in that. So I'm so glad.
So it wasn't in vain that I went through all of this. It was like I can make something out of it. Yeah.
Right. And what is up with docs not asking about lifestyle? And
I I don't know. I just think that they don't have time, one, and two, they weren't trained. Most doctors get very little nutrition education. So it's like, it's just not their wheelhouse.
No, it's not. I wish that they would at least say, hey, we need to look at these things. Maybe here are some practitioners, or maybe go find somebody to help with that part of your life, because that will enhance our work here. I wish. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Someday. So we're going to get into all the details, but I love what I mentioned earlier is that you have a specific focus on hormones in your work, which is, of course, cycle syncing and all that. Tell us more about that and why hormones are essential for fertility.
Yeah. So hormones, as many of you know or maybe don't know, they control every single aspect of our body, how we feel, how we look, how our body performs. I mean, every single thing comes down to hormones. And a lot of people have these symptoms of hormone imbalance. They just think that it's normal. This is how you're supposed to have a painful period. You're supposed to have PMS. Like, that's what we've been conditioned to think. But really, that's your hormones sounding an alarm saying something's wrong. Your body's not balanced correctly. And so that's why it's so important to focus on hormones, especially when you're trying to get pregnant. You want to make sure that those hormones are balanced. You want to make sure that they're functioning properly, and so that you can get pregnant, you can feel amazing no matter what your age is. So I just think it is so very important. And it is the first place that I start with all of my clients. Let's look at your hormones. Let's make sure that they're balanced. Let's make sure you're making the hormones you need. You're detoxing them when you're done. You're not recycling them, and your body is experiencing balance and working the way that it should.
Yeah. I love what you say too, all of these things so like, for example, I was diagnosed with endometriosis years ago. And when I was like, 14, 15, I had these really painful periods. Nobody ever mentioned anything about hormonal imbalance or anything that my body was not behaving as it really should.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
they probably threw birth control at you and said,
that's right.
And it's like putting a Band-Aid on a massive wound. It's not going to work.
That's it. Well, even after, they didn't diagnose me with endo back then, but even after I got a diagnosis during the fertility stuff, it still was, well, this is incurable. There's nothing we can do about it, which I think is complete BS. I haven't had symptoms in 10 years now because of everything that I do to take care of my body.
Yay.
I love that we focus on that. Other practitioners might say, oh, that's just normal. There's nothing we can do about it. And you're like, oh, yes, there is.
Right. Exactly. There's definitely something you can do.
Yeah. I love in your bio, we were talking about having pleasant periods. And that's why I was like, oh, I wish you
yeah.
so many more people.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Because literally, you don't have to experience. Those are symptoms. Your body's saying like, hey, something's wrong. If you're having, the PMS and the bloating, the cramping, the fatigue, the acne, all of it. It's all symptoms of hormone imbalance.
It's just a symptom and a guide. Do something.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
Good. Okay. Can we talk now about the Hormone Puzzle Method? And I was researching you to ask, okay, what am I going to ask Kela, right? I'm like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. So the Hormone Puzzle, so puzzle is an acronym.
It is, yes.
I love every single thing about every piece of this. So please riff.
Okay.
Take it away. Talk about the puzzle method.
So puzzle stands for proper whole food nutrition, understanding supplements, zapping stress, Z's, love and encouragement, and exercise and environment. So those are all the pieces that you should be focusing on to put that hormone puzzle back together. And if one of those things is off, then you're not going to get a clear picture of your overall health, your overall hormones. So we want all of those pieces working the way that they should together in unison so that you have a complete hormone puzzle.
Beautiful. Succinctly put, right?
Right.
So can you expand on on each piece? So like the P.
Yes. Yes. So proper whole food nutrition means eating a balanced diet full of fruits and vegetables. I focus on something called the magic plate, which is a third protein that can be animal or plant, a third leafy greens or vegetable. I say eat the rainbow, try to get as many colors as you can on your plate. A third slow burning carb or whole grain, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of a healthy fat. So if you can balance your meals with all of that, then you will be eating proper whole food nutrition and your body will be working the way that it should. And I like to focus on what you get to eat. Like, you get to eat all of that, not you can't have this, you can't have that. I find that if you are filling your plate like that, you're full, you're satisfied. You don't want any of the junk because you're giving your body what it needs, and you don't have room for any of the sugar and the fat, all that processed food, fast foods, all of that. Yeah. So that's the P. So understanding supplements. I find a lot of people will just hear about a supplement and they're like, oh, this is going to boost my fertility. Let's take this. They don't understand like what it's for and what it's going to do for your body. So I always do a full workup on people whenever they start working with me. I look at, okay, this is what you're struggling with. Maybe you have PCOS, or you have endometriosis, or you have low egg reserve, or whatever it is. Let's look at that and let's supplement accordingly. And then I have certain supplements that I like based on whatever condition you're struggling with. I always recommend a whole food multivitamin because I find no matter how healthy your diet is, no matter how balanced it is, there will be holes. Mm-hmm. So you want to do the whole food multivitamin so it's bioavailable for your body. I always recommend a pre and probiotic just because I want that gut health strong. But after that, I look at your individual, this is what you're struggling with, this is what supplement you should take. So it's really understanding those supplements. Then the third one is zapping stress. Everybody experiences stress and we really want to try to manage it and eliminate it. So it's finding out, okay, where are you stressed? Are there things in your life that can go in the back burner, especially if you're actively trying to conceive? Let's take that off of our schedule and just focus on what we have to focus on right now and focus on our fertility journey. This is a season in your life if you're actively trying, so let's put our focus there. And then doing things that are going to eliminate and manage that stress, such as, reconnecting with your feminine energy. I find a lot of times people are so used to doing and they're not used to just being. So let's get back in touch with that feminine energy, and let's, your body will always take from any other process to make stress hormones. So if you're stressed, if you're going, if you're just like overworked and underappreciated, your body's going to stop making those sex hormones, especially progesterone and estrogen, and it's going to make the cortisol, the adrenaline. So let's focus on what we can do to manage that stress, to alleviate that stress, and to really focus on that feminine energy while we're trying to conceive.
Yeah. Big one.
Yeah. Then the, Z's. So sleep is another very important piece of the hormone puzzle. Sleep and eat are kind of go hand in hand. You have to make sure that you're getting proper sleep. And so that's, getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night so that you can detox, renew, restore, recover, all of those things that your body's doing while you're sleeping. And so that's one piece. 1 week, I focus on nothing but sleep with my clients, making sure they're going to bed and waking up at the same time every night and every morning, that they're getting good quality sleep, that they have that sleep environment in their room where it's cool and it's dark and it's free from clutter. And so it's just, the only thing that happens in the bedroom is sleep and sex. That is it. So that's a really big piece of that hormone puzzle. Then the love and encouragement, that's really where a coach comes in, and, having that support, having that person that's holding your hand. Maybe you are going the medical route, maybe you're working with your doctor and maybe you're going through a fertility treatment, but a lot of times that doctor's not going to hold your hand. They haven't usually been there. Like a lot of coaches in the fertility space start from their own personal struggles. So, we're here to give you that love, to give you that encouragement, to hold your hand and to support you. And then exercise and environment. So it's really looking at the right kind of exercise. Again, you want to be exercising based on your hormones. So like during your menstrual phase, when your hormones are low, you want to be doing low restorative movements, gentle stuff, stretching, walking, relaxing, things like that. when your hormones start to go up and you do have more energy, you want to start doing more of those HIIT classes, those high intensity workouts, those spin classes, because your hormones are high and you have the energy, one, and two, you want to try to start to detox some of those hormones. So you can do those high intensity during that time. Then as you move through the phases and you go into luteal phase, that's when you want to start to detox those hormones again. They're starting to come back down. You really want to focus more on those low and gentle movements again. So I talk to women all day long. I was one of them that thought to be healthy and to be skinny, you had to work out nonstop and do the HIIT classes and sweat all the time. And that's just not the case. It's really working against your body when it comes to your hormones, your fertility, and weight loss. You can actually gain weight if you're pushing against those hormones and your body's like, whoa, I'm stressed. I'm just going to hold on to this weight because I think I'm in fight or flight. I'm going to die. So I'm going to hold this weight. So definitely exercising based on where you are in your cycle. And then environments. I have them, look at what you're putting on and around your body. Is it clean? Are you using toxic chemicals? Because that, again, is a very tough endocrine disruptor where your body sees that as a toxin. So it's going to try to protect you from that. And that means it's going to, one, hold on to fat, and two, stop the baby making hormones because it feels like it's under a threat. It's fight or flight. So again, another very important piece of that hormone puzzle. So that was a lot, long-winded, but hopefully that answered your question.
It speaks to the depth of the method, right? Like there's a lot to take in. That was actually a question that I had. When you work with people, do you find that, so let me just take it within the context of my work with folks. I find that especially people who are trying to conceive, that there is this mindset of what are all the boxes? I will check all the boxes so that I can get pregnant. Okay, tell me what to do. I will do it. And to me, that is the energy of, it's very masculine energy, like check all the boxes.
Right.
Do you find there's room in your work with folks to, okay, here are the guidelines, and you still need to listen to your inner self, your inner wisdom, your inner guide. And this isn't, do this, follow this imperfectly. Is there license for that?
Definitely. Yes. I'm big on listening to your body, doing what your body needs, sitting in that feminine energy. And I do a lot with mindset too. And I didn't really get into that in the puzzle method because it doesn't fit the acronym, but I do talk a lot about, mindsets and just really believing like this is going to work. You can get pregnant. Your body is capable of this, and really truly believing that. And so that's what your body hears. So that's what you're training your body to believe. And so you're saying, okay, this is going to work. And then your body just relaxes and then it works. So many times I feel women come to me and they're like doing, but when they can just relax and just be and trust the process, then they get pregnant and they're like, oh my God, how did that happen?
Yeah, that's a big theme is trust, trust that this is possible. I think that so many people have been, emotionally beaten down from loss and from disappointment and from cycles not working, that it's very difficult to get into that mindset of this is possible and to trust the process. So that's where I think that love and emotional support is really necessary. So I love that you have that piece. I'm a mental health therapist, right? Like, of course.
Yeah. Yes. So
I love that part. You talked a lot, actually, peppered in there was about cycle syncing. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So cycle syncing is another piece that I've put in with my programs, and it is a functional medicine concept where a woman partners her food, fitness, social, and work with her monthly cycles. So she's either eating foods and doing certain activities when her hormones are high to make those hormones, or it's eating certain foods, doing certain activities to detox the hormones after you're done using them so you don't recycle them back into your body, which can cause a whole host of other issues. So it's really just being in tune with, okay, where am I at in my cycle? What needs to happen during this phase? And once you learn how to do this, it's almost like second nature. It's intuitive. Like, okay, I have energy today. I feel like doing a hard workout. I don't have energy today. I'm going to do something lighter. I feel like today I'm on my period, so I need to eat something warm because my body, I want to kind of move that blood out. I want that warming and calming effect. Or I'm during my follicular phase. My hormones are high. I've got all this energy. I feel like eating a salad. It's fresh, it's light, it's new, all of that. So it's really just listening to your body and eating and doing things based on what phase you're in.
What I love most about that is that listening to one's own body, because so many people, when they feel like tired or under the weather at all, I gotta push, I gotta do it because I'm supposed to, I have to, but I have to, it's the thing, it's supposed to. That's what I love. I hear that a lot. And there's not a lot of license and a lot of forgiveness around that for people, for themselves, to just do the hatha yoga, man. Like, it's fine. You don't have to sweat every time, you need that restorative stuff.
Exactly.
So, love it. Okay. So now we talked about this a little bit before because we were talking about moving into like menopause. Now, obviously we're still quite young, but I'm wondering about people in their 40s who are trying to conceive, because somebody our age is perfectly capable of conceiving. So I'm wondering about that. And are there specifics that you talk about with people our age, people who are approaching 40, who are kind of freaking out because there's that statistical thing that's out there?
Right.
How do you work with people on that?
Yes. So cycle syncing can help no matter what your age is. So I always start there with the hormone puzzle and then with cycle syncing. I have a lot of women that come to me that are no longer getting their period, and cycle syncing helps them to rebalance their hormones. And 9 times out of 10, that period comes back. Or if you are, going into perimenopause or menopause, cycle syncing can help eliminate the symptoms of that. You don't have to experience those symptoms. Like I said before, just like when you're in your 20s and 30s struggling with painful periods, as you go into menopause, those are symptoms of a hormone imbalance. So if you can start to balance them out with cycle syncing, with the hormone puzzle method, then you don't have to experience those symptoms. Or even if you do have some symptoms, they're a lot less intense, So yeah, no matter what your age, I can start working with you on the puzzle method and cycle syncing to help with symptoms or to help get pregnant naturally. I think my oldest was about 45 who got pregnant naturally through this method and through cycle syncing. So you can do it. I would say if you're in your mid to early 40s and you're wanting to get pregnant, don't wait. Start immediately putting these pieces into place because they will help you. I had my second at 40 years old after 2 years of infertility. So yes, it can happen.
Yes, and it does happen all the time.
Yep.
So I'm wondering about if you have, because you said start now. Do you notice a pattern in terms of, because the first question that people ask, well, how long is this going to take? Because I need to be pregnant like right now.
Yes.
Do you notice a general time frame? Because Western meds is like, it's pretty immediate. You take that injection of whatever hormone, it's pretty immediate. Do you notice a general time frame for changes around the puzzle method?
I do. So usually within the first month, people start seeing some immediate symptom relief and things like that. It usually takes about 3 to 4 months to depends on how much you're struggling and how much your hormone imbalance is and how many symptoms you have, if you have PCOS, if you have endometriosis, things like that. But the average person, it's about 3 to 4 months balancing out those hormones. They start to see some major changes. And then I have clients that get pregnant in 3 to 4 months after we start working together. So it just really depends on where you're starting. Some clients come to me, they're already fairly healthy. They just have unexplained infertility. We get to work, we tweak a couple things, and, the next month they're pregnant. Then I have other clients, like I said, that are struggling a lot. They've got the endometriosis, they've got, maybe they need to lose a little weight, and they have a lot of hormonal issues. And two, maybe they're struggling with, they're starting from scratch. They're eating a lot of fast food, a lot of sugary foods, a lot of processed. And so that's going to take a little longer. So it really depends on where you're starting at. But I always say the best thing to do is just start today, as we're talking, you can take things from this podcast and start implementing that right now. And that's not going to hurt you if you start immediately. So don't wait.
I saw something recently. It made me think of it when you said that. It was like, I don't know, on Pinterest or something. I'm a Pinterest addict. And it said, one day or day one, your choice.
Yeah, I love that.
And I love that. And it kind of speaks to what you're saying, like make it day one. Make it day one right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yep. And I always talk about, what's one little thing that you can start doing today that's going to make a big change in your life, and do that one thing. And then the next day, do another one thing. And then it's like a small hinge will swing that big door. Before you know it, you've got all these new habits, you've got balanced hormones, no symptoms, and you're pregnant.
Yeah. And it does feel like second nature. It's like, oh, that's just what I do.
Exactly. I always talk about that. I want this to be your lifestyle. You're not going on a diet. This is going to be what you do. Like when you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth. You don't think, I need to brush my teeth today because I don't want to get cavities. No, it's a habit. You just do it. That's how eating healthy should be. That's how all these pieces that I talked about, that should be your second nature. It's just who you are.
It's just who you are. Yes. More than just it's what I do. It's who I am.
Exactly. I love that.
And people can get into that. It's just who I am. I'm a mom. It's just who I am. Mm-hmm. Then they feel that, and it starts moving, making all these changes happen. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Do you, I'm sorry, this is off the beaten path. Sorry, it's not in my list of questions, but okay. I'm wondering if you work with people who are getting treatment, like IVF or other, like acupuncture. Do you work with people around that too?
Definitely. Yes. This can help you whether you want to go 100% all natural, or you want to, a lot of my clients are going through IVF and, different fertility treatments and, non-traditional treatments with the acupuncture and all of that. So yes, this can help you get into the healthiest version of yourself, whether this is all you do or you couple it with something else. And, obviously there's some instances where you're going to need to do IVF. You're going to need to do IUI. This is only going to help get you into the healthiest version of yourself. It's going to get your eggs the healthiest. Your hormones are going to be balanced. So it's only going to help you whether you're doing that or not.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're looking for the total package, just enhancing all the things. Enhancing all the things.
Exactly.
Moving toward optimal fertility.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So can you speak to a few things or your top recommendations that people can start doing right now to move toward that optimal fertility from your perspective?
Definitely. So as I was, discussing the puzzle method, I would start implementing some of those steps. The very first place I start with everybody is that proper whole food nutrition. Okay. So really look at your diet and say, am I eating the healthiest way that I can, or is there tweaks that need to be made? Am I eating fast food? Am I eating a lot of sugar, a lot of caffeine? I'm trying to get through my day living on caffeine. And so take a really honest inventory of yourself and decide, okay, I need to clean up my diet. And maybe that doesn't mean tomorrow you stop eating all of those things, but slowly start to taper down and start to say, okay, I'm going to eat less fast food this week. I'm going to eat less sugar until you get to that whole food balanced nutrition. So that's the first place I would start. The second place is to start eliminating that stress. Stress is the second leading cause of fertility issues, especially ovulatory issues. So starting to eliminate your stress, starting to really be in that feminine energy, to be, focusing on things that you can do to actively manage your stress. And I know that's easier said than done right now, especially the world that we're in, but you have control over it. You can, I have made it a conscious decision that I'm not going to let stress affect me during these times. I'm going to do everything that I can do to manage my stress and to make sure that I'm still healthy as I can be, that my children are still thriving. And so it's your decision if you want to let the stress control you or not and consume you. So that's my second tip, is just to start managing that stress today. And then the third thing I would say is, what is the third thing? They're really all so great. One thing that I didn't mention is to make sure that you're drinking enough water. Water is another thing. If you are dehydrated, your body is not going to be working optimally. Your hormones are going to be affected. Your fertility will be affected. So making sure that you're drinking enough water is going to be really important. I always say, try to drink at least 0.67 times your body weight in ounces. That's your minimum amount. And think of your body like a sponge. If your body is dry, and you try to pour water on a dry sponge, it's going to run off the top. If you add it in slowly, it will absorb. That's exactly what happens with your cells. So look at how much water you're drinking, and then add it in slowly until you get to that minimum amount.
Cool. Didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Good. I know water it's so basic and yet so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, water is a big deal.
Yes.
Lovely.
It's so crazy. I have so many people saying I know I need to drink water, but I just don't. And so that's another thing I work with them on. How can you drink water? How can you make it easy? How can you, me, I've got this huge gallon jug of water on my desk at all times, and I'm just constantly drinking it. It's just a habit. It's what I do. And so that's what I teach my clients how to do that. And so, it's very important.
I think people would be surprised, too. You might find this, that people, if you have water in front of you, just where you are at any given moment of your day, you're quite likely to pick it up and drink it.
Yeah, because it's just a habit, Same thing if you have a soft drink in front of you every day, you're going to drink it, let's choose water.
That's right. Yeah. We'll replace it, right?
Right.
So, and I have to admit, I like, fizz. So I like drinking, soda water or something, and I'll put lemon in it or something like that. But I mean, hey, if it's in front of me though, just plain water, I'm drinking it.
Exactly.
That's how it is. So awesome. I love all this stuff. So obviously this is just bare bones information about you and what you do. And there's still a lot of stuff in there, right? So we have some free stuff to give away to people that will be on the show notes. Can you tell people where to find out more about you and where to find you?
Awesome. Yeah. So
how they can work with you?
Yes. So they can go to my website, which is kelahealthcoach.com, or they can go to, I actually have two websites. My other one is hormonepuzzle.com. And on that one, I have 2 free cookbooks and a free masterclass, five secrets to decode your hormone puzzle and get pregnant naturally. So they can watch that. Or I'm all over social media. So Facebook is at Kela Health Coach, Instagram at Kela_Health Coach, LinkedIn at Kela Robinson Smith. And then I also have a Facebook group, which is Hormone Puzzle.
Yeah, you are all over the place, girl.
I'm all over the place.
You don't have to go too far to find you. That's great.
Yes.
But they find other people that can connect and work with you and that they can connect with. It's really a really great tool. So good. And again, all this will be on the show notes, folks. So just scroll down, find what you need to find. You'll get it all there. Kela, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add for listeners and or watchers?
Yeah, just thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you learned something today. And remember, just take one thing, implement it into your life starting right now. And before you know it, you'll have this whole new way of living. Your hormones will be balanced. You'll have all the pleasant periods, no PMS, and you'll boost your fertility naturally. So just take one thing and start today.
Beautiful. Yeah, I like what you said there. I just want to rephrase a little bit, because if you remind yourself why you're doing it, boosting fertility naturally, as you said, right? Being pregnant, all these things that people want. Remind yourself why you're doing this. Why am I trying to eat a third? Why?
Yeah.
Because this is what I want. Okay. So when things get hard, reminding yourself.
Exactly. That's so funny you say that too. I know we're about out of time, but it reminded me, that's the first session that I start with. Your big motivating factor. We anchor that factor. We talk about why you're doing this. So when it gets hard, you can say, oh, this is why I'm doing that. And it'll remind you and it'll make you stick to these goals. So so important. I love it.
Important. Yes. All right. Great. Kela, thank you so much for all the info and the insight, and people are going to be outreaching you. I know.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much. It was so fun talking to you.
Likewise. Take it easy.
Okay, you too. Bye.